What up? This is High Definition Pod. This podcast that is Maurice.
Yo, it's Therese.
And we're back for another episode, my brother.
Yep.
Another week.
Another week.
How's it been going?
I chill, Ain't done much of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. By yourself.
Overall, it's been good.
Okay, that's good.
aside from my, I'm going back tomorrow though.
You go, okay,
Yeah.
you good though.
So by the time this come out, I should have some better news. But overall, everything's good.
Right,
I'm still living, still breathing.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And
gas prices actually starting to come down just a little.
It went down like 10 cents.
But
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I need to see like a 1 on the front number though.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. Okay. If I can just get it back down to a 2 in the front.
Yeah. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
It might. We'll see.
We might get 300 maybe.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
299.9.
That right there, exactly. We might get that
on sale for this. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Listen, y'all know we're all about having conversation. We are all about promoting critical thinking, which is about on life support now. Our platform is all about just having conversation and getting you all just to think. You can agree with us, you can disagree with us. We just don't tolerate disrespect. We try to do all of our conversations from a biblical worldview as best as we can. But we are human. We do have real life experiences, so we're still navigating this thing called life. So that's just what we're about. Today as you can see, we have a very special guest. For those of you that's watching, or for those of you that's listening by audio, we have a special guest. He and his lovely wife were just on with us back in our love and relationship month back in February. Yeah. So we have none other than family, Pastor Steve, but we just call him Steve.
I'm really debating on that whole title thing. Take that.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
It's enough pressure just being me. So
yeah, we got him back on. We're just gonna kick it. We're gonna just talk about topic of the day is gonna kind of just be on manhood. Okay. He also has his own podcast. We're gonna get him to talk about that throughout the conversation as well. So Steve, how you doing?
I'm good. I like I said, you do an analysis of head to toe, and still got the pain here, there.
Oh yes.
It's like, hey, I'm still breathing, so it's all good. No complaints whatsoever.
Yeah. So
you know what? I'm bad. I'm terrible.
What?
Know what? I was like, I just turned 34. I didn't even reach that.
You did have a birthday Friday.
I did just have a birthday, didn't I? Look at that.
Oh, wow.
So if you didn't tell Therese happy birthday, make sure you say it in the comments.
It's all good, guys. It's all good. I don't broadcast it like that.
Well, happy birthday.
He really does.
I don't broadcast it like that, but yeah.
34.
New aches. That's right. Wow. New aches, man. New aches. It started before I hit the clock.
My bad.
That's all right. You kids.
I know.
See,
we're still babies.
Hey, it's okay.
All right, so let's throw it out there. We got Steve on. It's kind of an interview / conversation.
Right.
So we all gonna be, having our input in on this. First question: what's the one word you would use to describe manhood?
Challenge came to mind when you said it, so I'll say challenge.
Why would you say challenge?
It is it is a challenge. Trying to, because of the history of the black man, the broken families and all that. Mm-hmm. First of all, trying to figure out what it is, and then how to walk it out, or how to figure it out, and then you got that other 50% of the womanhood. Mm-hmm. That whole is a challenge. Just
I would actually have. When I wrote the question down, that's probably gonna be that's like the number one thing that came to my head too.
Right.
It's challenging.
It
is challenging.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
to do it right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
now to go out here and make a bunch of babies and all of that, and just be a.
See, and the crazy thing is that so to me, manhood is responsibility.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Malehood is just having the ability to
reproduce.
Reproduce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like,
yeah.
and I think that like society, like our society gets it completely wrong. We're thinking,
especially today's society.
Exactly. A man can just go out here, like a male can just go out here. We think manhood is, I got all the women and this and this,
right.
but we ain't got no responsibilities, or we don't take care of our responsibilities.
Right.
Especially with us, that notion is that it's funny because my wife will go out in public and she's got our 2 boys. Like on the weekends when I'm working. And that thought always plagues my mind. Is like, I think my wife's a single mother. You know what I'm saying? Because that's synonymous with us.
Yeah.
But that's not the case, of course. But yeah.
People that know y'all know that.
Yeah, people that know us know that, though.
Right.
Definitely a challenge.
And even when you magnify that, being a black man, is the challenge. I think definitely goes to a whole nother level. Don't want to play the race card, but it is a card we have to carry. So just multiply that when the man, has to deal with that, and then he has to deal with his wife issue or spouse issues, and then the co-worker issues who have no clue what it's like to be a black man.
So if we was to play the devil's advocate, though, if we was to get one of our white brothers to come here and they say, I totally disagree because we deal with the exact same thing, the exact same pressures. Not so much they will probably agree with us. No, we don't know what it's like to experience it as a black man, but as a man, I still deal with the challenges. I still deal with the same pressures. I still deal with the challenge of being a man.
Okay, I would. For sake of argument or not to get into a heat, I would disagree, respectfully disagree that you may deal with the challenge of manhood on a small scale. If we're at 100 on the challenge scale, you like 25, 30, I don't know, way down there, because the doors and everything, you don't have to fight for your manhood. Yours was given. You don't have a problem. Ain't nobody challenging it. You just going about it. So then now you may have those daily struggles or whatever. But when we get up every day with this on, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that I would agree with you. I think that I know for me, sometimes our minds mentally, I have to prove I feel like I have to prove myself.
Yes.
And I hate the fact that I feel that way, but that's a reality. I understand that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me strength, and I know that I am capable of doing things, but there's always this little thing in the back of my mind that if there's someone who doesn't look like me who could do my job better, they'd probably hire him.
Yep.
I put that pressure, and I came just being honest. I had that thought extremely it hit me extremely hard was, I want to say, Saturday at my job, because one, I'm in a new department. I've been on that department for 5 months, and ever since I've been on the sorter at my job, we've elevated. Saturday I considered a failure because we didn't finish our work. So we had to come back in Sunday morning, finish that, then go into Sunday's work.
Got it.
So I know for me, it's I got pulled into the office. My manager was there. 2 of my managers there, and then the senior director was on the phone with him, trying to come up with a plan and everything. And I'm sitting here I put that pressure on me. It plagued me all day Sunday. So I'm saying, when I say Sunday was mentally exhausting, because I'm sitting there, doubt is creeping in my mind. Doubt is in my mind. But I know for a fact that, hey, Therese, you're better than this. You're better. You are more than capable of doing this job, and I've proven that, day in and day out on my job.
Right.
But that thought was still there. It's you're afraid, and it sucks. We're almost afraid to mess up.
Yeah.
It's or when things outside of your control happen, you're afraid that those things are going to get attributed to you.
Exactly. Yeah. You already, walk in or come in with one strike, or maybe another, depending on, where you are in that profession. Your education can be a strike, and there's a lot of things. So that one swing and a miss, So, yeah.
So now it's like the pressure to perform is there now.
Yes.
and I'm in an industry that you have to perform.
Of course.
So
I think almost any job, really.
I believe that. I believe that with any job. But I think that us as black men, it's like, I don't know. It's almost like it's you can't even really explain it. It's there though.
Yes, it's there.
Like I don't know how to like put it in words. I don't.
Okay. So would you say, okay, like our pastor, shout out to Apostle Ryan from Citygate. One of the things he teaches about whenever you see a cycle, that's a sign of a curse. So would you say, could there be a curse on the black man because of the consistent challenges that we're facing?
So you want me to allude to Deuteronomy 28?
You could. I mean, you know, we always try to make sure, we always try to back up what we say by the word, even if it could be debated and whatnot.
Yeah.
But could we say that? Could we, or is what we dealing with too a result of our own actions and decisions that we're making, or could it be a mixture of both? Or what?
I say a mixture. I mean, because there's things that there's things that we do that have. I mean, well, that's with anyone though. Like anyone, like you mess. Well, you know what? Now that I think about that, never mind. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, I do believe, whether it's a curse on the black man as a whole, and possibly. But I think we're walking or falling into that cycle that, broken homes and, the system was designed to keep the black family apart, especially in the inner cities and the ghettos where, well, not just necessarily ghettos or places, but if it's public housing, a man couldn't be in the house, whether he wanted to be or not, they wanted a place to live. The woman and the kids can live there, but the man, so there was a full, I'm not going to say assault, but if there was some struggle there, so the man had to go out. And so then also we're falling into that lack of education. This was being the Bible for those who are not looking, but it's been a thing that we just can't humble ourselves. We got so much going on. And so that cycle, and then if you don't see that role model, if your daddy, didn't do it, and because his daddy didn't do it, because that whole thing. So I think we are definitely right on the edge of it, and I don't know if hopefully this generation can remove it, so the next one, it'll be a distant memory.
I think that's something that we are doing.
Yeah. I mean, with this.
As those. The thing, thinking about it. So the civil rights movement we're not too far removed from that.
Right.
So
that's the 60s and early 70s.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we're as a nation, we're still. It's still fresh.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like fresh, but it's still, but as generations start to depart from this earth, we start to see changes. And I think that's something that has to, as time progresses, we'll move further and further away from those stigmas that we dealt with as a people throughout that time, and we'll start to be able to, I don't want to say feel normal, but I mean that's the only word I could think of, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or maybe to be seen as equals.
Yes, we go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But when you said seen as equals, and I'm not trying to be chauvinistic, I'm not. We should be the 51 and they're the 49. Not to say that 50-50, because when it's all said and done, I mean, we're supposed to be the head, the priest, the all of that. So yes, we're equal. In God's eyes, she came out the rib, which means on the side and all of that. But she came out of the man. So if anything, my 50 should be the first, and I should protect the family, do all of that, lay down my life, all of that. So, but because of the challenges,
I think from a biblical standpoint, that's how that order is.
right?
Yep.
So
I actually have that in my notes.
okay, well,
Now go ahead. Go ahead though.
I was peeking over there. But when you see the movement now, Black Girl Magic and all of this, I'm like, Lord, when is something gonna happen for the brothers?
So question. So do you think that, because let's think about from slavery till present day. The man literally was ripped away from the wife, the woman, the children, sold off somewhere else.
Yep.
Let's move to a little down the line where you get the public housing. You bring a man into the equation, it's snatched away. It still goes on today. So do you think there is an attack?
When did they actually start?
I don't know.
I know it's called the Great Society, but I'm trying to think, did it happen start in the 60s or was it in the 70s?
I want to probably say this. Probably the
70s on the scale where the welfare movement really took off. So I'm just guessing. I have no.
Keep going, bro. I'm gonna do it. I do it quick.
It's like, do you feel that there's I'm not gonna say that attack on the black man, but I'm gonna use that term.
I hope that our society is not that evil where there was this table, the Knights of the Round Table, whatever. These people got around and said, okay, how can we defeat this black man force, whatever, because you're going to take all the women and all of this. So I would hope that wasn't the case, but when you look at the system and society as a whole, you got to think, well, it's kind of systematic that if you do this, and that. So I would say there was an all-out attack on anything that threatened the normal society or the way they had it set up.
It looks like it was back in the 60s under President Lyndon B. Johnson.
Right.
That's when that's when it was starting to get implemented.
Right.
With the welfare state, because before then, actually, black marriage, black business, all that was actually on the rise.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, and you think about it, I mean, it's like whenever we start to see the empowerment start to occur, something gets litigated to where it sets everything back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if we start to see that, because one thing I will say is that after the Civil War was probably one of the most profitable times for black people because we had all those skills.
Yep.
Right.
So we're working the mills, all that stuff because
we knew how to do it.
Right.
And then what happens? You start. I forgot what it's called. Was it the
Black codes, Jim Crow laws?
Yeah, exactly. You have all that start to happen, and then you start to see a decline. So it's crazy. Like whenever we see a progression, something gets put into place, then you start to see a digression.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
So since you brought that up, the word litigation. So us as men, now I'm not y'all know me. I go down that rabbit hole with.
We'll go.
Let's go.
But okay, so as men, how important is it for us to really, be paying attention to litigation and things that's going on, how it impacts us, our families, our people.
Yeah.
Like how important do we see? Have you all? Have we seen where we're actually paying attention to these type of things to where we go in and say, hey, hold up, wait a minute. You're trying to implement this policy and it's going to affect my family this way. Yeah, sorry, I'm not voting for that.
I don't think we do.
No, we don't. No, and when you said litigation, I'm thinking of the criminal justice system, and
94 crime bill.
Let's talk about it. Yeah,
Joe Biden wrote that. Hope y'all know.
Hey,
yeah.
I mean, okay, definitely need to get rid of that. But to when my nephew went to prison, to sit there was my first time. This was last year, being in that courtroom throughout the entire trial. Been to court before, go in, get out, pay your fine, whatever. But to see the systematic destruction, and not that he's destroyed, but to a point, the lack of knowledge. He thought, I could do this, and and I don't have no money for a lawyer, and why did they do this to me, and why did they do this to me, and
public defender is the worst thing you can get.
And the judge was like, and we, so he's like, I made a mistake. He robbed someone's house, and he says, nah, putting too much salt on the steak, that's a mistake. You did that on purpose, and I'm gonna give you 20 years to figure it out. Boom.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what story you're talking about.
So it's like, okay, wait a minute. If you knew that when you walk through that courtroom door, you got a 90% chance of going to prison, don't go in there. The only way I walked out of that courtroom, the only way we today can defeat the criminal justice system is don't go in there. In other words, stay out of there. Do what you got to do. Not say you got to, not be hard or whatever. Things happen. You go to, you commit a crime or whatever. But going in somebody's house stealing, ain't we got past that?
We should.
I mean,
we should be.
It's a whole lot of hip wanted signs out here.
There's a lot of them. I mean, it ties back to pride.
Well, and you go back to the question about manhood. I mean, dude, you allowed them. You went and got the rope. Okay, there's a tree right there. Okay, I got the rope in the tree, and I'm gonna stand here and wait for somebody to come and help me. It's like
facts. I mean, let's be real. Keep it a buck, though.
What are you doing?
I ain't never think about that analogy like that.
I mean, yeah.
It's like, okay, what? So he at 17, father was wherever.
Yeah.
So again, left uncovered.
Yep.
No one to tap him in line. So there you go. Now it's another one.
Yeah.
I don't want to say lost because he's still here, thank God. But the marks on him when he comes out.
Yeah.
System is set up. You're a felon. Can't. You're a felon. Got to go over there with all the felons and do what? What kind of job you gonna get? We'll pay $8. All right. Okay. What? You know what? $10.
That's why I think that there should be one. This is just my opinion. First time offender, nephew, right? First time offender.
Yep.
Okay. All right. First time offender. Now that is a pretty heinous crime to rob somebody's house.
Yep.
I understand that. And I always thought of like laws and everything when it comes to like rulings and stuff like that. It should be universal,
Right.
like across the board. Cause that way we know. That way we know everyone is getting the same treatment for the same crime.
Right.
Because we've seen cases where young white male rapes young white woman. 6 months in jail.
Yep.
You got no criminal history or anything like that. Star athlete, grades are great, getting ready to go to a prestigious college.
Yep.
6 months in jail. Got out on 3 months for good behavior. You get the black male who is, let's say, same thing. Same background, all that. Stats, athlete, grades, academics, commits the same crime. Gets X amount of years.
Yes.
And it's like,
Yeah.
the scales are unbalanced. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like the scale is unbalanced. It's like I always say that if you wanna get the assumption that there's like injustice going on when it comes to certain crimes, you put a universal thing in place to where, hey, you steal from the liquor store, guess what? That's a petty crime. Under $100, I think, something like that. Whatever. If it's under $100, you go to jail for 60 days. Okay. Instead of you go to jail at my discretion as a judge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that the laws and everything should just be like, all right, look, you rape someone, X amount of years in prison.
Yeah.
You steal something, X amount of years in jail or whatever it is. And then that'd be it. That way we have a merit that everyone is judged off of.
Yes.
But do we even have a clear definition of merit nowadays?
No. Everything's
no.
so black. It's gray.
Everything's so subjective now.
Yeah.
Well, what I saw was the prosecutor went to, and they always going back to old cases, Smith versus Texas.
They always do that.
In the case of Smith versus Texas, the judge granted 20 years. So it happened once. Oh, that's all we need. Oh, so then it's fair because that judge did it and I can do it. So that legal precedent has been set by in Texas. Really? Okay, you're gonna use a judge from Texas, judge, black man, whatever. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So they in this particular case, maybe not all of them, but they went full throttle. What is the maximum we can do? Okay, let's find me the maximum. Yeah, Smith versus Texas is the maximum sentence for a Class B something, whatever,
right.
Those things. How much was that? 20 years. That's what he get. I was like, wow.
Do you think it would have been? Now, you said he had a public defender.
No, he had a lawyer, but it was the judge, the solicitor were on that side of the table.
Got you.
His attorney was on this side of the table. And they said, okay, nope, you can't bring that up. Can't. Well, what about, nope. So they tied his hands, stuck him behind his back, and look, no, we just, no. So we, writing notes to the judge, say this. No, can't do it because that was this, da. And so there were so many things done that really they wouldn't allow it to come out. 17 years old, went into the, when he got arrested, he was in interrogation room by himself with the police. His mother was not allowed to be in the room. So they're like, well, wait a minute, doesn't he have to be, yeah, no. Case of Smith versus Texas says that in the event that there was a gun, something.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and of course, there's hundreds of cases, and we see it all the time where that kind of thing. But when we go back to the litigation thing, understanding that it's not fair. It hasn't been fair for a long time. So let's understand that and navigate. Okay. I ain't gonna take a chance with that. You might get me for a speeding ticket or something like that, but it's not in this.
So you saying, stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah. Because
it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah, it's literally it has to be a village mentality.
Yes.
But the village,
the village is so skewed, man.
Yeah.
You think about it. When we were growing up, heck, when you was growing up, your neighbor probably could whoop your butt if she caught you. If your neighbor saw you doing something wrong, that people in your neighborhood, if they caught you doing something wrong, you gonna get a whooping with that person, and then I'm gonna tell your mom and daddy when you get home.
Yes.
The village concept has almost been nullified, made void.
Yep.
I think that's a very, very great point. If we was to somehow resurrect that, we could change a whole lot. Now is don't say nothing to my child. I deal with it, but then when you deal with it, your child still doing the same thing.
Right.
And then most of y'all know that your child is bad.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
And you ain't did nothing.
You ain't did nothing.
And it's where, like, especially like when let's think about in the biblical times. So, if say you had a brother, your brother died,
Right.
you took on the responsibility of his family.
Yes.
Ain't none of that no more.
Mm-mm.
It's like it as a family, when you have a strong family knit. If a paternal parent or anyone passes, we should band together to help that family
Right.
in any way we possibly can.
Yep.
Through mentorship, especially if there's boys in the home and the father's gone now. It's trying to steady the waters, because when the father ain't there, the waters are
Trouble.
they're trouble.
Yeah,
I mean, it's literally, and it's like uncle steps in, hey, look, Neff,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I know I ain't your daddy, but look, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna make sure that you stay the course. You know, we need to see that more. You know, when we see it, it ain't on a grand scale, but it needs to happen.
I think it's
Especially in the black family.
It's a high school down in, I think it's in Louisiana, a couple months ago. It might have been sometime last year. So they started having a whole bunch of fights break out. A couple of kids got arrested.
I remember that.
A band of fathers.
There you go.
They just they banded together. They said we'll just start walking the halls. They didn't have no problems after that.
And that's the thing is
Me,
the Bible talks about true religion is what? It's
take care of the orphan.
Yes.
And I forgot the other part.
and the widow.
Yeah. Widows in office.
You see what I'm saying? It's right there in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's laid out right there for us what our responsibilities are. We don't follow them, but that's the thing. We don't want to submit to a higher authority. God. We don't want to submit to that. We want to do our own thing. Well, I'm a man. I don't need nobody to tell me what I'm supposed to do. I can't do that. I'm a man. I can do whatever I want to do.
That's the white man's religion.
Where has that gotten us? In the 400 plus years that we have been here, where has that gotten us?
Nowhere. Yep.
What happens is we repeat these same cycles over and over again. We go out here, right? We fall into that same trap. We produce all these children, wipe our hands with them, and go on about our life.
Yeah.
Bible also says that you are worse than an infidel if you do that. If you don't take care of your seed,
Exactly.
there's a special place in hell for you.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And you know, we've got to set a price. It's got to be guys like us that literally be like, look, enough's enough. Look, we see it. These celebrities ain't gonna do it. I mean, I shout out to LeBron because I mean what he's doing in his community is great. With the school and everything. I mean, he's even giving with the parents. They get the GEDs through the school and everything like that. The kids scholarships and stuff with Akron. You know, I mean, it's beautiful. But we really need to see more solidarity. I'm not saying we condone everything that we do, but there's got to be some form of accountability in place, and we have to be humble enough to accept
Yes.
that accountability.
So as you're talking, and I guess the black church back in the day was that place.
Yep.
Or to a certain degree was that place, but it's gotten so
Yeah. I mean, because think about it.
stretched.
When you had your neighborhood meetings. Where was it at?
The church.
The black church.
Yep.
I mean, everything was at the church.
Yep.
You know, you have your neighborhood cookout at the church.
Church.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't see that anymore, and it's like, where is the church? Where is the church?
Yeah.
And then God's gonna put the onus on us as the body. What are we doing to make a change in this?
I think Peter said judgment's gonna first start at the house of God.
That's where it starts. It's for us.
Yeah.
It's gonna fall on us, and then he'll take care of everything. He'll take care of everybody else after that. But when that judgment falls, it's gonna hit our heads first. Then it goes out to everybody else.
If those y'all that listening or watching, judgment is not as far as condemning. In this context, I think it's more so about holding accountable.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But where are we at? Like, where are we at? I mean, my thing is, it's like I have a big problem with denominations.
Yes.
Maurice knows this.
Yep.
But it baffles my brain that we have so many. The central message of the Bible is the gospel.
Right.
Why in the world are we so divided? Even when it comes to whose theology is more sound and who's more solid. And it's funny because Satan is very crafty. He's very crafty. A house divided cannot stand. There should be a network where every church that is around here is connected in some way whatsoever. If someone's having a youth explosion at their church, this church should know about it, and should be like, we want our youth to be a part of that. Send them there. When this church has a men's group,
yep.
this church, all these churches around. Because you think about it, even in Bible times, all the men left and went away for a period of time, and then they returned. You know what I'm saying? And that's the what? Edify one another, to build each other up. We don't see that nowadays.
Nah.
Now, TD Jakes, he used to have, I don't know if he still does it or not, but what was it called?
We went. Wow, yeah. I can't even remember.
But we don't see it. We don't see that.
What was that? Yeah.
On a grand scale. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's really gonna come down to us stepping up and being like, look, you know, especially if you've come from the bottom. I mean, and go back into your neighborhood, like, especially if you become that success story or that anomaly. Like, yo, it's possible. It ain't easy. It's possible, though.
It's possible, definitely. I know Saturday at the funeral, it hit me like a ton of bricks that as powerful as our man of God is, and he's one of many, on a regular Sunday, you can lay down on the pew. But yes, everybody came to celebrate the life or whatever of the person that passed on. There was not standing room in there, and this is a big facility, hundreds of people in there, and then everybody that come up, say the same thing. None of these people gonna be at church tomorrow, So what could happen? What is it? Yes, they came in to celebrate this one person or that family. So is there something that can be done? I mean, we know the Word of God should be the thing that draws them all in. It should be. But what is it that's, I mean, I don't know. It's something that's not.
That was going to be my next question. Because when you brought up the church, what is it that the church can do to gather the men? Because like me and you, we've talked about it. And we started to see some growth. Like we used to have like those like small. Like we used to have Sunday school, but it's kind of like a small group with just the men. And it was starting to grow and pick up. And like the conversation we would have, like you really saw men start opening up. You saw us like, because the way I grew up, I grew up as an only child. So mom and dad took me everywhere. So I always had to sit around the older folk. So me just sitting around listening to people older than me, that's in my DNA.
Right.
So like I love sitting listening to Pop. I love sitting listening to Steve talk, and saying that helped me grow as a man. So maybe we need to. Is there a way? Maybe the church needs to start forming these types of avenues and platforms for men to say, "Hey, this is just the men coming. We just talking." I think too. We made church too spooky.
Ooh, and then that routine of that, you have to check follow the routine, check the boxes, whatever, to go to church. So maybe like you're saying, it should be something different, something additional, whatever how you look at it, to be able to get that man. Okay, we got the Xbox, we got the whatever that is that's going to draw him, and then kind of drip on him, if you will. Because just to come in and say, all right, turn to Genesis and let me tell you about whoa.
Like, it's got to be something that really captures the attention.
Right.
So, I mean, cookout, man. Okay, cool. Cookout, little basketball, something like that, some football, whatever. I mean, it's some sport. You throw a sport in there, we're more likely to be like, what's that? What's going on over there?
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I think that we're starting to see spaces open up because the I Am Athlete podcast.
Yeah.
There's been some powerful episodes on there. I mean, you got these former professional athletes on there, like pouring their souls out.
Wow.
And it's a safe space to it's all right to cry. I mean, I've seen episodes where I've seen dudes crying. I mean, you think like, man, like, that needs to be normalized. Like, where we can really just wear our hearts and our emotions on our sleeve and not be afraid to feel like anyone's gonna judge us for doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the suicide rate amongst black men is pretty high.
Yeah.
And that doesn't get televised a lot.
Do you think it's the fault of society? Well, I don't want to just put the blame on somebody, but what do you all think that inception maybe happened where
I can tell you when it happened.
Where men had to like put on that facade where we couldn't come to like a safe space and just kind of let ourselves.
It goes back to slavery once again. The whole butt breaking thing.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, that Willie Lynch era when the slave master would literally sodomize the biggest slave on the plantation in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they didn't show no emotion after that. I mean, you couldn't. It's like, I was just violated. I gotta put on this facade, puff my chest up while on my head high, but I'm dying on the inside because I just got victimized, yo. You know what I'm saying?
And he also victimized your wife
while you exactly.
You better not, and so now you have to not only take on that, but then you got to take on her response.
Because now she's like, you didn't protect me.
Right. And so now he's having to, go through so much. So you're weak if you cry, and it's just a thing where, that's you're bottling all of that up. And then you were not taught how to deal with those emotions, how to handle it, what to do constructively. So now you're lashing out through violence and all of that, or drinking and drugs and this, and the woman is still coming to you, and you're not in the space to...
Right. You're not sober enough to do it.
Exactly.
Because you got to think about it also, like, we starting to see that, like, the trajectory changing now, because, certain aspects of society are changing. So now we're more like, we start to see that young men are like, I'm going through some stuff, man. I need to talk about this.
Right.
Like the whole mental health thing, it's big now.
Yeah.
So these changes happen throughout. You turn me up? Oh, okay. Sounds weird in my headphones. But like, you start to see these changes evolve in society where men are like, we're like, oh, we can open up. We can open up about this. We can open up about this because, and I think that there's things that happen in society that the church sometimes doesn't want to touch. But honestly, if he calls us to go into the world and make an impact, there's certain things that we gotta touch. And like, if we want to talk about we need to talk about the mental health thing.
Definitely.
Like, you can't just pray stuff away. Like, get you a therapist. Your pastor's a therapist. I highly suggest it.
Oh yeah.
Like, those are things that we, like, for years in the black church, like, we didn't talk about.
Why hasn't there been an organization or a movement that church? Then you go to this thing. You're not quite ready for the church, so you need to go to the whatever that is. that then helps with everything else. Okay, now you're ready, or it's a part of church, or it's a church where you go in and I'm not saying this happens, but hey, you can get a cold beer, you can whatever, you know.
Let's be real.
It's that thing right here. You know.
You know what's crazy about that? I was sitting there thinking when you start saying that it's almost like the church has to piggyback things.
Right.
We don't set the trend. Mm-hmm. It's like the whole mental health thing comes to play. Oh, now the church can kind of dive into that.
Right.
Why aren't we leading that?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is we're too busy piggybacking off of certain off of worldly movements.
Right.
Where we should be the one that leads a movement to God. Because a lot of times we look at stuff, we're like, oh, you know, we'll talk about mental. Like, what does the word of God say about mental health? What does it say about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that look within the church? Because there are people that are struggling mentally, and they ain't saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like we should be the ones spearheading these movements.
Yes.
Like I always said, the church is almost an indirect reflection
of the world.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it should be, the world is a reflection of the church.
Right.
Because we should be the ones out here holding the mirror up, like, look, this is what the world should look like. This is how it should look. And that reflection is a reflection of who? Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
But Jesus also said the world hated me, so they're gonna hate you too.
Exactly. So I mean, that tells us that we still got to go out there and preach the gospel, love on people, though they may not love us back.
So do you think the reason we haven't is because, and we said this on this platform several times, we just too comfortable?
Yeah. There's a passage that said that comfortability is going to be a killer.
Yeah.
And the thing I've seen is and no shot to anyone, but it's easier for the church to go overseas to a third world country and help than it is to help at home.
Right.
Why is that? Why is it that we're so gung ho going over I get that we're supposed to go to the world. I get it.
Far into
but,
the world.
My mom always said, sweep around your own front lawn before you sweep around somebody else's.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that country obviously is thirsty for it, and so you know, dare I say, it's good ground, whatever the case may be. But yeah, you definitely need to take care of home first to be able to make an effective change for sure. Yeah.
And that's no shot at anybody at all because it's a necessary. It's a necessary. We need to go over to these places and give the word of God.
Yeah.
That's definitely a necessary. But it's like, man, like are we really? I just how I feel is like there really needs to be every church across America should be connected in some form of fashion, not just by God, but like I'm talking like a network where we are literally communicating and telling people, hey, we got this going on, just back and forth, because one, hey, we're thinking about going into this inner city over the inner city over here, and you know, maybe throw a little block party for them or something like that, you know, and try to bring people to God. You know what I'm saying?
I think Pop mentioned it, and I don't know if it was the sermon this past Sunday or it was in a recent sermon. Like, church got to stop acting like drug dealers.
Right.
Like, we got to stop being so territorial when it comes to the church. Like, like this is my people. This is my people. No, this is God's people.
Right.
Ooh, yes.
And we just all attend our own local flocks.
That's the thing.
Right.
And it's crazy. It's like, it's almost like it's an ego thing where some churches don't want to attend another church's thing because they have no part in it.
Right.
It's like, what's the agenda here? The agenda is to get people to God, to get them to Christ, right? Don't matter if your name ain't on it.
That's true. Exactly.
I tell you what though, if you want to throw one, I can help you throw it.
Right.
You put your name all over it.
So that raises the question now: if you're doing an event and you won't go, or somebody else is doing something, and because you're not on it, are you trying to promote God's agenda or your agenda?
Own, exactly.
Yes. I mean,
Exactly.
when you were talking about it, I remember, my church history in the Baptist church. You got this association.
Oh, yeah.
We got the 31 churches of the whatever the association is, and within that. But even what you're saying within that association, there was still the segregation to where if pastors, hey, if he wasn't the keynote and it wasn't in our church, and then they would try to find that neutral place, where it was somewhat acceptable, but it still would never really have the impact that it should, especially you're doing some great things and you're bringing in a national artist to come in and have praise and worship, and I can't go there, and then, you get that mega church that can pull in that other generation that is not really concerned about all of that. So that move does happen in small doses or pockets. Of course, all of this is way pre-COVID and all that. So now you got to think about the church, the new church, if it is. It's, hey, I can do like this.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm at church in my slippers.
Hey.
I'm just of the belief. I still say be in the building.
Yes.
No, facts. I mean, but like if you don't want to be, if you don't feel comfortable enough being in the building, every churches have to have the resources.
We do
to be able to do.
But I'm sorry, there is nothing like
there's nothing like it.
Being with your church family in person. There is nothing. You don't get that same feel online.
Yeah.
But for your spiritual growth, I learned. I'm gonna say I had my foundation, right? But then I started watching this particular minister, Charles Stanley. Okay, wait a minute. All right. And now there's no distractions. I'm not looking at okay. Back to the,
right.
And yeah. And so it was my thing, okay, making notes. I can see that. Of course, still go to my local assembly, but being able to get fed where you can, and maybe that could be the thing for the brothers that, okay, you don't feel that you're ready for the church, and we know that he is, but at least,
oh yeah,
platforms like this can kind of, yeah, they can get it, and the doses that they want, that they can handle.
And that's been a continuous conversation I've had with people, especially they know who I am, they know what I'm about,
right?
And they tune in, people that most of the time wouldn't darken the doors of a church. They listen. They like, yo, it's real. Yo, what y'all was talking about, man? It's real.
Yeah,
That's real, right now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, this is very necessary.
Oh yeah.
It's very necessary, and it just warmed my heart that that I'm a part of something that can possibly tweak that one heartstring where change, like Christ is able to infiltrate and change.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we got a few minutes.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get to all the questions.
We didn't at all. I don't have any questions. I don't have any
straight conversation.
I love it.
So, what are 3 things that we would say every man needs?
Good woman.
Discipline.
Okay. Money.
That's necessary.
You got to have the resources to be able to do it. I mean, we can talk about it and pray about it, but if you ain't got the money to really take care of that good woman that you will be blessed with, and then the discipline to spend that money and work it, because we're so far out of the. We're so far down on the level of our financial knowledge. Yeah. To know that your money can work for you. What do you mean? So just think of the dope boys back in the day.
Yeah.
Would have took that money to.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah. I mean, so 3 things I think are you need family.
Yes.
Because that right there is going to propel you into like when I say family, I'm talking like your own, like your mother, your father, necessary family like that, grandparents, uncles, aunts, aunts, all that stuff, because that is going to set the precedence for you starting your own family.
Right.
Two, I would say, not necessarily. I'm gonna say education of some variation.
Yes.
Whether that you went to college or you went to a trade school,
Right.
is learn something to one, be able to take care of yourself,
Yes.
and then the money will come with that.
Or and when this information age, you can just about
Yeah.
learn it yourself.
Literally, I mean, YouTube, YouTube University.
If I ain't mistaken, shout out to Smith Lee.
Yes.
I think he learned everything he did just straight off YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
And shout out to him because he's also like his team. Every person that is on his team, he's poured into.
Yeah.
And now a lot of them are starting their own stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jeremiah.
Yeah, I was about to say him.
Look what he's doing. I mean, this cat's out in California
Yeah.
taking photos for like top magazines and
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like you need people like that to pour back into younger people so that they can take that, go over here, pour back into them. And that's what it has to be. It has to, that's got to be that. It's got to be the Black Wall Street mindset, where the information, money, all that stuff is circulated within your own, and then it goes out. But when it goes out, it brings something back.
Right.
So now we can circulate even more, and then it goes out again, bring something back, because like you said, what he's doing is tremendous, and it's wild because that model can be replicated amongst his group, because now they can take that skill that Lee taught them, go do the same thing over here, and then once they've given that skill to it's trickle effect, and that's what we need.
Definitely.
Did you have one more?
What was it? Well,
So you said family. You said education.
Plan.
Okay.
Plan. A man without a plan is just aimlessly wandering.
Yep.
For me, I'm definitely gonna say every man needs God.
Yes.
Number one, of course.
Of course.
Same thing with you as family. I'm gonna say community,
I'll take that.
because the reality of the fact is a lot of our men came from, like you said, came from broken families.
Yeah.
But what if you have a community of you may have gotten connected. You may be dating a young lady. She take you to church. Then you meeting the pastor and some of the men at that church, and now you starting to hang with them and glean from them. That's your community now.
We've seen plenty of movies on BET like
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like I even think like some of my group of friends. No, even with you included. Like I have a small circle.
Yeah.
Like y'all are my community. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't hang around a whole lot of my natural family like that.
Yeah.
I hang around with my friends more than I hang with my natural family. And there's no disrespect to my blood family, but you know what I'm saying? My community is like my friends, my church family. That's my community who I glean from. So I would say every man needs God, every man needs community, and every man at the end of the day, Pop says it best, every man's gonna want respect. And he needs respect.
That's a fact.
Yes.
I take everything I said and throw it away. Like
Yeah.
that.
We'll go with your version.
Hold on to it.
All y'all everybody's just saying.
Yeah, we'll go with your version.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because but that and I said woman because I know what the good woman that I have done for me.
Shout out to Rita.
As far as the discipline.
Fam. Shout out to fam.
Shout out to Rita, man. I mean, it was bless her heart, because I did not have a role model.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was like. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. So now, moving forward and encountering some, okay, look, as you get yourself together, that's what you're looking for. Of course, God definitely, is always first and foremost.
Yeah.
But she's a close second.
Yeah.
She can make a whole lot of things tolerable.
I tell you, man, because I think that no nothing wrong with empowering women.
No.
But a man wants someone who is going to, I'm gonna use this cuss word, boy. That submission word, that submissive. Oh, that's a cuss word nowadays.
Oh yeah.
But it's necessary. I mean, I don't make any major decisions without my wife.
Of course not.
Because she's my equal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the Godhead, he said it's God, Jesus, the husband, the wife, the children.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly feel that is beneficial.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to like a hard decision where you and the missus can't really come to that agreement on it. The husband's like, look, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. She might have some reservations about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's just say it doesn't work. Now, give grace.
Yep.
Give grace.
Nah, you still gonna hear about it.
You still hear about it. Yeah, you still gonna hear about it. But,
hear about it.
Grace, man. I'm telling you, because man, I'm telling you, like, it's that model.
But the submission goes both ways.
It does. You
Cause,
submit husband,
I always say, I submit to my wife's input. She submits to my leadership.
Yeah.
But if I honestly be truthful, there's things that she's stronger than me.
Exactly.
There are areas that she is stronger than me in. So
that's why it's an equal thing.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, I think for the fellas that are listening, if you got to admit you don't know everything.
You don't.
Right.
There are areas you are just not that strong in.
Yeah.
Right.
But your lady or your wife, she probably is. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Let her have the leadership on that, and then as y'all grow together, her strength will actually start becoming your strength as well.
That's
right.
facts.
I had a friend. His wife is an accountant, but I handle all the money because I don't trust her. I like, dude, she's an accountant. I mean, you think she know how to balance? You ain't talking about her. Nah, I'm okay. All right,
can balance
cool.
check, but better than you can.
I'm
bro.
saying, and so, but yeah.
All right, so we're over time just a little bit, but I want to end this. I want Steve. I want you to leave something with the men because we talked about challenges, we talked about the pressure. Now, this is just my personal opinion.
Okay.
I feel like, ladies, please don't get mad when I say this, but there is just a weight and a pressure that's on us as men that I don't know that if they can all the way understand or comprehend it.
Right.
But it's not directed to them. But I just want to kind of say that it's a set of foundation. So, what would you say to that man that's going to watch this? Or even to the young lady that may need help understanding, what do you say to him that's trying to navigate those pressures and those challenges of life? What do you say to him to kind of encourage him?
One day at a time. It's too much coming at you to try to figure it all out at on the fly. And if you're fortunate to have that soulmate, wife, partner, person with you to share that load, someone you can trust in that inner circle, you definitely need somebody. It doesn't necessarily have to be the wife for the relationship, but like you talk about that circle, that family, that bruh, I'm trying to, I'm married, I'm trying to live right, do right, but this man, just at work, what I do, okay, but here, let's talk about it. We know what you're not gonna do, but let's try to work through that. And then when you, not in that case, but in other cases where when you fall, okay, that's okay. Yeah, you bumped your head on that one. Okay, let's get up. All right, let's figure out how to move forward, how to recover from that. Because, when you talked about the respect and you talk about things that, we deal with, the challenges we deal with and the responsibilities we have, and then you have to let go of some things, it can weigh on you that make you feel you're less than a man, things of that nature. So don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, you talked about that grace. Give yourself some grace, man. Hey, I messed up yesterday. Okay, that's always tomorrow. Yeah. To hey, and then God help me. I mean, with that, alone. I say pray, and hey, man, Jesus did that. We was praying, and this is what happened. I'm sorry. Yeah. So just talk to Jesus. He'll make it all right.
That's a fact.
Tell everybody about your podcast. How can they reach you?
Man. So the Brothers Journey podcast, the Brothers Journey show, was really birthed because of this. I believe in my heart that I know I needed structure. Mm-hmm. Tell me what to do. Just go out there and make some money. Okay, what's the first thing I do? What's the second? Some steps. I needed the process. Yeah. So putting together the podcast, putting out some encouraging content. Okay, here it is. So as you navigate those things, not only mine and others as well, putting, the information out there. So the Brothers Journey show, it's on all the platforms. And I don't have and like I said, I just brought my phone and keys. And if I had an iPhone, I could pull it out and show you.
I forgot. I think I got your book is upstairs. I forgot. Right. I was gonna have it so we could display it.
And yes, and the book. I wrote the book again for that process. I'm that process kind of thinker. So I put it out there. Unfortunately, brothers don't read. So
fellas, we got to change that.
Yeah.
So need y'all start reading.
You know the saying.
Yeah.
You want to hide something from some, put it in the book.
Put it in the book.
We got to change that.
Yeah. So Brothers Journey show, definitely. I'm still finding my groove. So I have 2 guests coming on very soon.
Yeah.
I got 2 words for you. 3 words. Win and well.
Got it. Hey.
Facts.
Definitely.
So, listen, this was a great conversation. For those y'all that's watching or listening, thank y'all for joining us.
I ain't even used my notes.
Y'all tell somebody about it. Y'all talk about it. Listen, this is what we're about. All about the conversation. So,
yes, sir.
Steve, thank you for joining us. We definitely gonna have to have you back on.
Definitely.
In the future. So y'all know this. This is High Definition Podcast. I'm Maurice.
I'm Therese.
And y'all remember to live life
from the highest definition.
We're gonna catch y'all in the next episode.
Peace.